that they're
All right, well, I have 7 o'clock, so I think we need to get started here. We do have a pretty full agenda tonight. So we will get started, and just to make sure, Zach and Elizabeth, we're both recording.
am I supposed to record too?
I'll take care of the main sessions.
You're gonna do the main session, Zach? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. All right. So welcome to Roundtable, October, and we want to acknowledge and kind of make a special welcome, because realizing that it's the beginning of a new scouting year, we probably have several new volunteers that are maybe either new to volunteering or at least new roles and maybe new to Roundtable. And so my name is Matt Pagliaro. I'm the kind of the coordinator for these meetings. And I kind of lead the planning team and help plan the agenda. And just so everybody has an idea of what the purpose of Roundtable is, really, we're just trying to help everyone stay connected, share ideas, and get you important updates from the council and other events that are happening. Everybody that is involved with the planning here is a volunteer. And, you know, we all have different background and different experience, and that's really what makes scouting great. But we all really care about scouting. And so we just want to make sure that we all can come together and help each other out. So welcome to everybody, whether you have been here before or whether this is your first time. Just a note on meeting etiquette and guidelines. If, as mentioned earlier, if you just joined us, if you could share your name and your unit in chat, we can make sure we get you assigned to the correct breakout room. If you have any questions, please post those to chat as well. And especially if you have a lot of noise in the background, if you could please mute yourself when you're not speaking or presenting, that helps to avoid some of that background noise. As far as we know, you should be able to self-select, but I think Zach has been assigning people to the Cub Scout and Scouts BSA breakouts as well. We will have those a little bit later in the meeting. We'll start with some general information for everybody. And then depending on your role, you would attend either the Cub Scout or the Scouts BSA breakout. We are recording this roundtable, as we have all roundtables that have been on Zoom in the past. And there is a website on the Gateway Scouting website where you can access the recordings and the slideshow and any other documents and things that are shared. If you need those for reference, or if you want to get the links, you can check those out on the Gateway Scouting Roundtable site. So as I mentioned, I'm Matt Pagliaro. I'm the leader of the Roundtable planning team, and this is our team. So if you have any ideas or suggestions for future roundtables or questions, please feel free to contact any of us, and we'll be able to bring that up. And we're always looking for good ideas for content to present. All right, so with that being said, Elizabeth was going to do our opening for us.
Okay. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, either Scout sign or hand over your heart. Can you go to the next one? Because we want to show the slides where we put these together. If you're in Cub Scouts or maybe even Scouts BSA, you could use the next 3 slides as needed, especially the oath and law and the code, to help anyone that's learning. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the
republic for
which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong mentally awake, and morally straight. Scout law. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And the outdoor code. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded. 2.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, so for our safety minute this month, we try to start each meeting with a safety minute, just an update and a reminder about safety issues to help keep us as units and our scouts safe. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen. And I need to open up another one. So this month, the Safety Minute deals with campfire safety. So as we get into our fall season, especially with drier weather and drier leaves, this is especially timely. So a few things to keep in mind with campfire safety. Most of the handbooks for each level and each program have tips and advice for campfire safety, but always be aware of your environmental conditions. Understanding local regulations, local fire conditions, and being aware of wind direction and the size of the fire before starting. Be mindful of your campsite. Be aware of where the established campfire ring is and make sure you're using that. Make sure your fire is 15 feet from tents and structures and other objects. Making sure that matches and lighters and other fire starters are stored securely. Another reminder that additives are prohibited in Scouts BSA. That includes any sort of chemicals, accelerants, color changers, flame enhancing products, anything like that is prohibited in Scouts BSA. And always make sure, of course, that your fire is extinguished properly, completely out cold with water, no coals hot left in that fire. And then as far as just preparation for emergency response, a reminder never to leave your campfire unattended at your site. Always have the necessary supplies there at your site, a shovel, a rake, and water at that site. And also be responsible or be prepared if there was a need for first aid due to a campfire. And there are other resources available if you would like to look at those. This sheet will be posted on the Roundtable website if you'd like to look at it for reference. Okay. So moving along, next we're going to talk about kind of the big topic for this month and something that's coming up sooner than normal is recharter. And so we have some information for you there. Tim, are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right, so Tim's going to give us some information and we have a video to share. And Tim, take it away.
Okay, so before we start the video, what's new for 2021? We're going to have online access available through internet advancement. It'll be the same login as Scoutbook in My.Scouting. You can get to this either through My.Scouting or through your Scoutbook. So make sure you are able to get onto those. All approval signatures will be electronic using Adobe Sign. The charter partner agreement, however, is still a paper document that has to be turned in, although it could be attached electronically if that's your choice. The online pay or the council service center. Zach, are you on? Are you guys allowing online pay this year?
Yeah, we're going to allow online pay.
Okay, so if you pay online, realize depending on how your charter is, it may or may not auto post, which is something that you want to consider whether you pay online or not. If your unit auto posts, it means that you're not going to have access to doing your unit for a while because Nikki isn't posting it from the council office. It's automatically going in there. So whatever you put in there, you may want to be a little bit more careful about that. Okay, Zach, an important date. When are you going to have the stuff ready to be picked up?
Yeah, so the one thing that we will have for everybody is we will still print off a paper copy of your charter and a few and like a a helpful resources page as well. So you can go ahead and stop by the council office. We'll have them ready starting Monday of next week. It would be great if everybody could stop in. If you cannot make it in sometime next week, let me know. Especially right now because I'm driving around dropping off flyers all across the council. I can probably meet you somewhere or throw them on your front porch or something as well to get some of that information to you. Maybe not your front porch, but meet you somewhere in town to get those out to you. So I would say reach out to myself and see if there's a time that I can get that to you because like I said, I'm doing recruitments till the end of the month planned out, and I'm going north, south, east, and west. So I will probably be in your neck of the woods at some point by the end of the month.
All right, I think we're ready to roll that video.
Okay. All right, does everybody see this screen? It switched, okay. All right, so this is just a short kind of summary so you can get a look at what this will look like this year. It doesn't give a whole lot of detail, but just a preview. Okay.
I'm jazzed up to do my recharter now.
We're all ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna talk about some hints here for getting started. So the key three, a lot of you may know who this is, but for those out there that don't, that's your unit leader, would be the Cub Master or the Scout Master, your committee chair, and the charter organization representative. So you want to have those people communicating, however you guys do it, phone calls, getting together for coffee, whatever you want to do, but you need to have a conversation about getting this going. The charter organization rep needs to check with the charter organization to confirm the continuation and get that piece of paper signed, that chartered organization agreement. The other thing you want to do is just talk to them because this is a little bit different this year. Remember, we're chartering early. You want to be sure the organization head has not changed. I know some organizations change their president or their leadership every couple of years. So you want to have that right on your charter. Next, check the YPT status of everybody there. If you have access to your my.scouting, it should be in there. You should be able to see all of your unit leaders. Supposedly National will send them emails if their YPT status is up, but don't count on that. Make sure you check. Choose one person to complete the recharter. You don't want to have 3 people trying to do it. Just pick one person to be doing all the online stuff. And when you choose that person, you want to make sure that they have good internet access and they have the required skills. You're used to doing online forms. Anybody that does tax forms online, this will be simple. Assign key 3 delegates if they're needed. Okay, so this is something that probably not many of you have heard of. You can assign somebody who has the key 3 access to your MyDot scouting in your unit. You want to assign a delegate if the electronic signatures could be a problem for one of the key 3, especially the charter organization rep. Because what's going to happen, we remember back when we talked about the electronic signatures being required, you're going to get emails. So if people don't watch their emails, or it could go to spam if you're not used to looking in your spam folder. But you're going to have to electronically sign that email and send it back, email it back. So you have to have somebody that is comfortable doing that. There is a involved process for granting access. If anybody needs to do that, you can contact Zach or myself. There is a page of instructions about how to do it. And the final one is decide who will attend recharter training. We're doing a lot of talking. We ran through that quick on the video. It does no good for us to put up a video with a bunch of details tonight and you go home and say, hey, well, what was all that about? No, you need to sit down with it and work through it like you always do. Next slide, please. So recharter training, you can attend in person or via Zoom. We'll run through a brief tutorial that hopefully you've looked at the stuff that's going to be on the next slide and you're familiar with it, or you've even have most of it done. Mostly we're going to be solving whatever issues have come up. There's going to be a dedicated host for the Zoom participants. So one person's not trying to go back and forth between the people who are showing up live and the Zoom people. And the dates are so far November 16th and December 1st. And right there is RSVP to attend one of the trainings. I'd like to see everybody RSVP.
You can actually RSVP whether you're going to show up in person or on Zoom. So that second one on December 1st, right now we have a TBD date. And if we get a good cluster in a certain area that wants to attend in person, we might do something out towards their neck of the woods. So keep that in mind while you're RSVPing, which one you would prefer to do.
Okay, next slide.
Where's the November 16th one?
That's going to be at the council office.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for video previews and frequently asked questions, there's a link right there. It will give you more information than you could want, guarantee you. There's a user guide, instructional videos, and more FAQs on the second link.
Did you see that from Tim? He had a question there. We will be sending an email out with these links to RSVP, right, Zach?
Yep.
But you can
Yep.
go to the website even now, and if you go to training, you'll see the links to those RSVPs right under the training tab.
So one more word about these recharter resources before we get to the next part. These are detailed stuff. They are reference things. So they are things that you're going to just want to stop and work while you're working on your recharter, and you can look at the part after you've went through them once. So, I mean, they're useful things. They're not something that you're just going to have to sit through. They're actually they're complete explanations of how it works.
Okay, thank you, Tim. And I'm sure we will have, attend those trainings and there will be more information coming out as Zach gets you your forms in the coming weeks.
So when are they due? Is that a fair question to ask?
Yes. So we want to get them in. What was that? I'm trying to think of that. I pulled my calendar.
I have the 13th date in my head. It's in that time frame in December.
Yeah.
Right.
So it will actually, it's the due date is the December 17th. The 13th is that Monday. So we want to get them in obviously before the holidays hit, because we're never going to get a hold of anybody after that. But we've got to have them in sometime that week. Final date would be December 17th.
Thank you.
Okay, and then to kind of piggyback off of what Tim mentioned with some of the requirements before you recharter, we do want to promote training for our leaders. You know, every scout deserves a trained leader, and so we want to give you a little overview of some of the training that's available for leaders. And we do have some information coming up later in the meeting tonight about some opportunities. So that first level there, of course, is youth protection. That's required of all leaders, no matter what their position, no matter what they're doing with the pack. You cannot recharter until you have all of the leaders on your charter that have that youth protection, and that has to be renewed every 2 years. So please check with your leaders, make sure you can use your My Scouting to check reports and check with them to make sure that their youth protection is up to date. After that, kind of that first level, there's also position specific training that's required of leaders. And that is available online. And, you know, whether you're a scoutmaster or a cub master or a den leader or an assistant scoutmaster, or even committee members, there is training available at my.scouting.org that's specific to your position and to running, you know, your unit in the way that it best can be run. This allows leaders to wear that train strip, which you can see up at the top of the screen. The red border one is for Cub Scout leaders. The green border, of course, is for our Scouts BSA leaders. And as I mentioned, there are some opportunities coming up to get that training in person, correct, Zach? Yep, and we'll have information later in the meeting about dates and times for those. And then after that required position specific training, there's a lot of additional training that the council offers throughout the year, whether it's Blue for Cub Scouts or ITOLs or Wood Badge, Leave No Trace. There's a Cub Scout leader powwow coming up. All of those are additional opportunities and just to help you be the best leader that you can be and do the best job you can for your scouts. And there is additional training recognition that is available for leaders that go to those extra optional trainings. So we did want to give a little overview of some of the recognition that is available to leaders for going above and beyond in their training. You know, none of us really became leaders because we were looking for recognition, but we also believe it's essential and important that we acknowledge our volunteers that do go above and beyond and to help our units, to help our scouts, and to provide the best program that they can. And so there's really 4 unit level leader recognition. So some of you may, you know, many of us have those square knots on our uniform, or some of you may see those square knots that leaders wear on their uniforms and you wonder, what is that? How would I get one of those, or how do they get those? And there's various reasons that leaders wear those square knots, but some of them can come from training awards. So completing training, you know, like we said, above and beyond some of that required training. So one award available to den leaders is the Den Leader Training Award that requires a year of tenure as a den leader at a specific level, plus meeting certain training benchmarks, performance benchmarks. Even if you're attending roundtables on a regular basis, that helps to qualify you for that award. Another award that's available is the Scouters Training Award. This is really for any leader at any level in any unit. So this could be Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, Ventures, and this also is available to committee members. This one has a little bit more tenure required. This has a 2-year tenure, but again, there's a requirement to do some additional training. There's performance benchmarks. Some of that is tied to things like Journey to Excellence and attending some of those extra trainings, like maybe a Wood Badge or a Blue or something like that. And then the final one here, the Unit Leader Key. These are available specifically to like your Cub Master, your Scout Master, your Venture Crew Advisors. And this one requires a 3-year tenure. Again, more training and performance benchmarks tied to some of that performance in your troop. All 3 of these mentioned, as a leader, you can actually keep track of your progress and turn this in on your own. It does require, the form does require a signature from the committee chair, but you can keep track of your progress and then submit that to Zach and the training committee for a review. And so with that being said, we do have some leaders that have earned some of these awards, and Zach is going to announce those right now.
Yeah, so we've actually got 3 awards that we're giving out. So the first one is the Den Leader Award to Angel Owen, and I think I did see Angel on today. So congratulations, Angel. If we can give them a round of applause here real quick. So Angel, just so you know, I've got your patch right here, but we've got certificates at the office. I'm just realizing that they're sitting on my desk and not here, so I can't show everybody the fancy certificate that I printed. But if you want to stop by the office, or I see we've got all 3 from Pack 91. If somebody stops by, we can get those handed off to that unit. And then the next one is the Scouters Training Award, which is, like Matt said, a little bit longer tenure. So this is for 2 years. And it actually is for Matt Pagliaro and Brenda Herman. So if we want to give them a round of applause as well. So congratulations, guys and gals. Thank you for going above and beyond and being there, being a leader for your unit, helping out those kids. Every kid deserves a trained leader. That's a line that I heard right away when I started my professional career, and it's true today. Trained leaders not only get stuff done within their units, but they seem to have a lot more fun too doing it. And I think the training committee would echo that. They probably have more fun than any other committee out there. So thank you, guys. Congratulations.
Thanks, Zach. And as you saw in the previous slides, the links to the progress reports are in the slideshow. You can access those. It's also a pretty easy Google search to find those. And if you're a person that's attending roundtables and doing some of these extra trainings, you may have already met the requirements to get these awards. And if not, maybe this will encourage you to do something more so that you can get that training. One other one that we wanted to mention, I'm in a meeting. One other one that I wanted to mention that's a unit level award is the Unit Leader Award of Merit. This one is a little different in that you are not allowed to self-nominate for this one. So this nomination has to come from your unit's committee chairperson. The requirements are listed here. So it's an 18-month tenure and this is for Cub Masters, Scout Masters, advisors, skippers, kind of the leaders of the unit. There are you have to meet those required training requirements. Things like having an annual unit program that's distributed to families, having a leader succession plan in place. So who's gonna take over when your time is done being the leader. And they're, advancing 60% of your youth and having a positive relationship with the charter organization and scouting in the community. There is a nomination form here that, so if you are a committee chairperson and you have a leader, a unit leader that you feel is deserving of this award, please feel free to fill this out. And I think you need to just write a little statement attesting to their service, and you can submit that for your unit leader. All right, so with that being said, we are going to jump to our breakouts.
How long are we in our breakouts for? You're muted there, Matt, but maybe I did it too soon. If you aren't assigned to a breakout, it should allow you to pick.
group of lions, tigers, and wolves, which is not ideal, but it's not the worst. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We actually got 9, but we got 1, 2, 3. We got 4 bears.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was really kind of crazy.
I would say that's the biggest group we got as well, was bears. So there must be something.
That's so interesting. I didn't expect that. I think that, I mean, like, I think I've said this to somebody before, like, I think joining as a wolf or definitely a tiger is plenty early. So I think these wolves, actually, I think it's kind of cool that they're joining them, because that's when things kind of get a little bit more, I think, interesting anyways.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah,
I think so too.
Is it just us two in here?
I think a few other people jumped
No,
on.
we got a few people in. Zach, is we got everybody assigned now?
Okay, we'll stop talking, huh, Corey?
Yeah, we do
We
have
took the
everybody
meeting over.
assigned.
Everybody's assigned. Okay. And I hate to cut everybody off, but we want to be able to make sure we get back on time for our council announcements and updates. So we thought that it would be a good idea to do a little overview of Scout Book this month, because for a couple of reasons. It's a good refresher for everybody, and we do know that we have some newer leaders that maybe are unfamiliar with Scout Book. And this is something that our unit uses for a lot of, well, really everything we do for communication and tracking advancements and everything. So we're going to give a little overview of that.
Absolutely. Some of these are actually a sure thing, because some of the kids are in scouts, or they had older siblings in scouts or whatever, and they're a sure thing. They're going to come. But not all. There's actually quite a few of them that, for whatever reason, are hesitant or absolutely against going on. And we'll talk about some of those possible reasons here in a minute. And so we do lose a large percentage of our membership during the Cub Scout to Scouts BSA transition. A lot of it, I think, has to do with some misconceptions. The families of the Cubs, the Weeblos, they don't really understand what the next level is all about, other than they change uniforms, and they think it's just a continuation of the program. And
So that's why we're recommending that you take a look at that. So everybody really can benefit from this, right? Whether you're a leader or a parent. Once scouts get into the older programs, Scouts BSA and Venturing, they can actually manage some of their own advancements and things. And so it's just a good system for everybody to use. So really, as what can it do for you? Kind of looking more at the advancement chair and Scoutmaster side. You can keep track of your rosters and advancements. You can keep your calendar. You can ask for RSVPs for events. You can email or text messages through the system. Our unit does not use it to log payments, but that is an option if you keep track of payments for events or scout accounts and things like that. For den leaders, there is a kind of a separate, it's called the Den Leader Experience. Personally, I don't have a lot of experience using that. Maybe some do that they could share later. And anybody who is using this can also subscribe to your unit calendar, whether they're using Google Calendar or iOS, they can subscribe. And I do have a slide that gives information on how to do that if you need that. Okay, so let's take a look at Scout Book. So when you log into the account, scoutbook.com, this is the page that comes up, and you're going to go and you're going to click login, and then this comes up, and it's the same login that you use for myscouting.org. It syncs to that same login and password, so you don't have to try to remember multiple accounts. So that's one handy thing. Once you log in, this is the screen that you'll see. And there's a lot of options here. There's forums, which if there's questions you have, you can look at those. You can access my scouting and your training from here, but where you really want to go to manage your unit is you want to go to my dashboard, this first tab up here. And when you click my dashboard, this is the screen that's going to come up. Now, this is not my account. This is a presentation that Scoutbook had put out there to use. And so that's why you may not recognize some of these troops in these packs here. But on your dashboard, you have your personal information here. You can edit your profile through here. If you have scouts of your own, they're going to show up here on the left. Whether they're in Scouts BSA or Cub Scouts, you can see your own family members here on the left, and you can go right there to manage if you have to put in advancements for them or manage anything with their account. You can get to them easily there. And then any unit that you're affiliated with is going to show up over here on the right-hand side. And so if you're a pack, you're going to pick pack. And then when you open up your pack, this is the page that will pop up. Now, like I said, this is a presentation that I got from Scoutbook. So this happened to open up as a troop, but your unit will show up here. Your calendar is going to be up here in the upper right. And so it's going to show you the next few events. But if you want to access your entire calendar, you just need to click where it says upcoming events, and then the entire calendar pops up. You'll see what that looks like in a slide coming up. And then down below, you're going to have your unit roster. And if it depends on your permissions, if you're a Cub Master or if you're a committee chair and you have access to all of the scouts, you're going to see all of your dens down here. And all of the, when you can click into those, and then when you click into that, it'll show the list of all the den members and all the leaders for that den. If you just have the permission of, for example, a den leader, you're only going to see your den down here. You won't see all of the scouts in the den. And that just depends on what permissions you have. If you are the account administrator for this, you can determine who gets what permission and who sees what den. That's a little bit more beyond than what we're doing in this presentation, but if you have questions, I'm more than happy to help anyone out with setting that up. So when you click on a specific scout, you're going to get a screen similar to this. Again, it's going to be Cub Scout information instead of Scouts BSA, but you're going to get the profile of that scout here. It'll tell you what their current rank is. So if they earned their Tiger badge last year, it's going to show that they're a Tiger. And then it's also going to tell you how close they are to earning their next badge of rank, how close they are to earning their wolf. In this next section down here, it's going to show you all of the advancements they've earned, and it's pictures, which is kind of nice. So you can see very easily what badges they've earned. Instead of merit badges, it's going to show belt loops down here in the advancement section. And then further below that is any awards that they've earned. So if they've earned their Whitlandship or a recruiter strip or a religious emblem, all of that is going to show up down below their advancements. When you scroll down, further down on this same page, there's an option to choose advancements. And this is how you would go and you would enter their advancements. And so you click on advancements and then this pops up. And again, this is Scouts BSA, but it would show all of anything that they've earned so far. So if they've earned their lion and their tiger and their wolf, that will show up as completed. And then what they're currently working on. And so you can click on that advancement down below instead of merit badges. Well, actually, when you click on the advancement, that's where it's going to have their belt loops. It's going to show those things. There's a question, is there a way to archive scouts who leave the pack and troop so you can look at their data a year or two down the road? Unfortunately, I have not found a way to do this. I was actually just having a conversation with a scoutmaster the other night, and he mentioned that one of the reasons that they have not switched to Scout Book is because it does not have the ability to archive. If somebody were to leave, and they didn't want to lose all their Eagle Scout data. And so they have decided to stick with their system. I think for Cub Scouts, I don't know that archiving is as important, but I will say that anything that's entered into this does go to the national database. So if that scout were to rejoin your unit, as soon as you reconnect with them, as long as you have their BSA ID number and you reconnect, so you make sure that the account is the same, all of their awards and everything should repopulate. And so it doesn't necessarily archive with the pack, but it does, the data isn't lost if they leave. Yeah, Corey.
Just want to share a piece of info I learned. I do stuff with both the pack and the troop. So if someone rejoins or they transfer from a different state, don't enter anything until you hand in that paper copy to the office. That will makes bad things. If you start entering people and then you hand in the paper copy, Nikki has to do a lot of work, and a lot of times you have to get on and you have to do things too. So don't enter people.
Let Nikki and let us at the office put that data in and let it auto populate. I know right now this is a busy time of the year for Nikki, so sometimes it takes a couple days for her to get them in. But don't, when you put them in yourself and then Nikki puts them in, you end up with two profiles, and then we've got to go back in and merge them, and that just creates more work on the back end. And unfortunately, just the way everything permissions are set up, Nikki's the only one that can do that at our office. So it just kind of keeps piling up onto her. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Corey. Let us input that data and let the kids auto populate for you.
Yep. The other thing I'll say is for leaders, make sure that if you have a new leader that signs up, make sure they do their youth protection training and they get that certificate, because that certificate is what's going to have their BSA ID number. And if you go and you create a profile for them before they turn that in, now they're going to end up with two profiles as well. So make sure any leaders, you have that youth protection training, you turn that into the office, let them populate onto your roster, and then you can assign them their role in your troop as well, or in your pack as well. Okay. Any other questions with kind of that's kind of issues with membership and assigning members and things in Scout Book?
So that first slide you had, Matt, that showed like your family or whatever. I had somebody recently ask me, hey, why don't I have parents assigned to my scouts? Is that something that the parents have to like log in and create an account, or because I'll be honest, as a executive, I should be more familiar with Scout Book, but I don't ever see any of this when I log in because I'm not a unit leader. So sure. I'm very unfamiliar with it. So how could
So the way we do it, and I can show, so we can go into the sandbox and I can show you how to do that. So there is it's called the Scout Book Sandbox, and it's an online account where it lets you play around as a different role. So if you want to see what it's like to be in this system as a Cub Master, and you want to play around with things without messing stuff up in your own pack, you can go to the sandbox and you can practice creating a profile or connecting a parent to a scout, and you don't have to worry about messing anything up. In our pack, the way that we do it is once the scout's profile is in there, then we go in and we create a connection. And so one of the tabs that's available down near the bottom of the page for each, when you get to, let me get to that page. When you get to this page for the scout, when you scroll down, one of the tabs there says connections. So you open up connections, and any leaders that's connected to them, their den leader, your chairperson, the Cub Master, they're going to be listed, but you can add a new connection, and that's where you would add the parent, and you need to have a working email address. And when that happens, then You add that information and you click invite, and that sends an email to the parent that invites them to join Scout Book. And then as long as they go through that process, they're going to have to create their own profile with their own password and everything. Their email is their username, but they're going to have to create their own password. Then they will be connected to that Scout, and you should see them as a connection. And that's when they can go in and they can update advancements and check things off that the Scouts are doing. So like I said, if we have a few minutes, we'll go into the sandbox and I can show that, but we are running short. All right, another question. Do you complete parents who are non-leaders to complete Cub Scout loops or merit badge requirements? Or do you recommend the Den leaders and parent Scout leaders document this? So generally, I mean, Cub Scouts, parents can sign things off, right? And they can mark things off. Now, when it gets to Scouts BSA, that's a little bit different. Then it's really all supposed to go through the troop and through the youth members and through the leaders of the troop and through a merit badge counselor. But with Cub Scouts, it's completely okay to be checking off requirements. So if your kids are doing things at home or at school that meet some of the requirements, you should feel free to go in and check those things off. Maybe check with your leader or your advancement coordinator so that they're aware that those things are being checked off and that they know where they're coming from. But I don't know, Zach, do you have anything to add to that? That's kind of BSA policy, right?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. You know, on the Cub Scout side, it's a little more lenient. I would be, I guess, as a kid that missed a lot of stuff during basketball season in the winter time, my mom would always bring my book in and say, you know, these are the things that we got done. So that was kind of my experience as a kid, was my mom was kind of checking them off. But it really, once you get into the Scouts BSA side, it's kind of a little more restricted because it's not so much age-based advancement, because at the end of the year, all your second grade wolves will become bears the next year.
Right.
So it's not like that in Scouts BSA. You actually have to get the requirements done. So it's just a little more restrictive.
All right. So somebody mentioned that somebody was doing merit badge requirements for her Scout. Yeah, that should not be. So parents should not be signing off on merit badge requirements if it's Scouts BSA. That's supposed to go through a merit badge counselor. Somebody else asked service information, logging hikes, camping. I would have to dig around I know there's a way to do it. That's not something that we really track very much in Scout Book. I would have to dig to find it, and I could get back to you. Oh, Brenda, you're asking, right? I can let you know, Brenda. I see you enough.
Thanks. The other thing that I wanted to say was one thing about Scout Book. My son absolutely loves looking at what he's earned, the number of belt loops and the patches and everything. So every once in a while, he'll ask me, you know, can I see what I've earned when I've got it open, so that he can see it. And it's kind of cool when you've completed something and it all pops up and they're like, I got this stuff. And so, and it kind of keep track of what you've received and what you haven't received from your pack. So just wanted to say that.
Thanks, Brenda. And I think that was Jackie that also said internet advancement, which is another login. You can log hikes and camps and things like that. That becomes more important in Scouts BSA because that's tied to some rank advancement and things. Cub Scouts, it's nice to have, but it may not necessarily be a requirement for something. Tom, I see you raised your hand.
Hey, am I on?
Yes.
Okay. I think with the Cub Scout advancement, leaders, parents can sign stuff off, but you still have the additional step of the leader has to approve everything.
Yes, that is true. And that's
then there's the awarded section.
Yeah. Yep. There's 3 different sections. There's a basically that it's been signed off, it's been approved, and it's been awarded, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I got to put my hand down.
All right. So somebody said, is there an app or is it just a website? That's actually coming up. This is a section we don't use. You can make notes and comments and things about certain, they finished this, but they didn't finish that. That is an option when you're signing off on ranks. All right, so the next section here is communicating with parents. And so Mike, to answer your question, there is an app. I'll have information about that in a little bit. We're trying to wrap things up here. But you can, there is a section where you can communicate. You can select certain members of your pack or the entire pack. One thing I always make sure that the blind carbon copy is checked just to protect privacy, so people aren't replying to everybody, because that can get kind of annoying. All right, we got 7:55. Moving forward, calendar, you can get requests for events. One thing to note, if you create an event on a calendar, anybody that is added to your unit after that event was created will not get the invite to that. So you have to go back in and manually add them to those events. That's one kind of annoying thing about Scout books. So just keep that in mind. If you create an event, your new members may not be getting them if you don't go back and add them to those invites. I mentioned you can subscribe, and so there's instructions here. If you would like to look at that, check out the website. This will be posted on the website. You can subscribe, you have your parents subscribe to your calendar. There is an assistant that allows you to do like repeating events and things like that on your calendar. And then, as we mentioned, there is a mobile app. I believe it's called.
It's just called Scout Book.
It's called Scouting.
Oh, Scouting. Scouting,
and this is the little symbol up here. It's a red icon. And so Scouting allows you as a parent. It does not allow you to manage the entire pack or the entire den. It's just for parents to manage their own Scouts information. Okay. Scout Book protects your privacy. You don't have to worry about that. Lots of information there. And then, like I mentioned, there's a sandbox if you want to play around. I don't really have any experience with this Den Leader experience. I have not used it, but if you have, maybe we could do a future session on that one.
Yeah, if your unit wants to kind of sit down and go through this together, we recently did this with Pack 28, and they found it very helpful. It took us about an hour to kind of walk through everything, but if your unit is interested in something like that, let us know, and we'll try to find a time that works to go through it all. I will admit, I don't think anybody from 28's on here. I never logged in on the Cubmaster side, and I kind of figured it out as we went along through the training. So it's pretty easy to work through, but obviously if you want some extra help, we're there to help you.
All right. I also have kind of a sheet of tips and tricks that I'll put up on the Roundtable website. It's a summary of what's this presentation will be there, but then there's a summary, kind of a checklist to help you out, what you definitely want to make sure you do. So I apologize we didn't have more time to show you more, but I see it's getting close to 8 o'clock. We probably need to jump back.
Matt,
Yeah.
want to mention that you have to wait until your Scouts are entered in through the council before you can be sending them information about upcoming events. So then I'm not sure exactly how you do that, but I think you actually just add their email address.
Right. Yeah, they're not going to be on get your updates, and you also can't add advancements for them and things until they're in the system through the council. So like Zach was mentioning earlier, just be a little bit patient. Nikki's busy. She's doing her best to get everybody entered.
Yeah.
Right.
If you've got further questions, feel free to reach out to myself, reach out to Matt. Matt's probably more knowledgeable, but we're here to help you guys, and we want to make sure that you're set up to be successful too. So as my old boss would say, I'm a greedy SOB and your success is my success. So let me know how we can help you. But I think we've got to end the breakouts here so we can try to get done before 8 o'clock.
All right. Thanks, Zach.
Oh, it's giving me 60 seconds. I'm learning on the fly tonight.
Back in the main room. I think we just have Cub Scouts, right?
I got sent back. And I'm a troop.
Okay, Tim, you're from a troop?
Yep.
Okay. All right, Zach, does it look like we're set to move on? You're muted, Zach.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good to go? Okay.
Yeah.
So some quick council updates before we wrap up for the evening. Hopefully you had a good discussion or learned some new things in your breakouts. Just a few reminders from Spookery. We got the 2 sessions for Cub Scouts, morning and evening, or morning and afternoon. And then any Scouts BSA, there's an evening program for them. We just wanted to make sure everybody knows what to bring. And I think an email went out today, but all Scouts and adults have to bring that 14-day pre-screening. And then any Scout that's signed up for Spookery needs to have part A and B of the BSA health form to turn in as well. I don't think I saw Elias on. Is there any other information, any need for volunteers that we know of?
There will be a troop SPL meeting on Friday night. I know that there are some units that are coming Saturday morning, and that's okay, but we can relay that information in the morning to you. But there is a troop SPL meeting Friday night at Dahl at 8 p.m. So send your SPL and an adult leader and have a notebook and pencil, I believe is what Elias put in the email. So.
All right, great. Thanks, Zach. Just a reminder about popcorn. That's, you have until the 31st, and there's some dates coming up for when to turn things in. Anything else we need to know about popcorn? You're still taking orders to pick up at the council office, right?
Yeah. So if you need more popcorn next week, if you get an order in by Monday, you can pick up popcorn that Friday. So if you need just a little bit more for that last weekend push, feel free to let Kevin know or put that order in through the app.
All right. Thanks, Zach. Zach, I know you were kind of coordinating this too, the Enchanted Forest, and this is something that the council is running this year. So do you want to give us information about what's going on with that?
Yeah, so this is a community event in the La Crosse area that's been going on for the past few years, and WizCorp used to run it, and they asked us this last year if we would take it over, and so we did. And it's just it's a community event, so we're inviting any youth to come out and join us. It's at Riverside Park on October 23rd. You can sign up online, and I believe you'll even sign up for like which hour you plan on coming, because we know that we don't want everybody to rush in right away at 10 a.m. or everybody to get there at 1. So try to spread people out a little bit, but you can sign up online for it. The link is there at the bottom, but it's a trick-or-treat event. So dress up in costumes. There's going to be groups from all over the La Crosse area. We will have some packs and some other scouters there putting on some different events as well. So should have a lot of different games, activities for the kids. The trail isn't too long and it's paved. So if you've got, even a younger one, they can be in a stroller and you can push them along, and you're not on like a beaten path or anything like that. So sign up online, and you can save a little cash doing that. You can see the cost there at the bottom. Day of the event, it goes up a little bit more, and then any kid under 3 is free. 3 is free. So if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to us at the council office. Reach out to myself or Kevin is kind of the guy in the office that's really heading it up, but we're all part of the planning team. So.
All right. Thanks, Zach. All right. And then as mentioned earlier, there are some opportunities for training coming up, particularly for some of our newer Cub Scout leaders.
Lisa, do you want to chat about either of these? I think I saw she was on.
Yes, the first one is the Cub Scout Direct Leader Training. This is the basic direct leader training. We are doing it as an in-person one. It is including all the online training. So if you choose, you can't get it all done. If you want to finish it online, you can. But it helps us get a bunch of new leaders and new people together with other experienced scouters so that we can talk about our experiences and the difference in getting this training done and why it's important to understand the program and how the program runs and answer any questions you may have. The second one is a Cub Scout Leader Powwow. This is an event where we kind of have some very experienced leaders that are coming together to give you their experience and how to do some events such as Pinewood Derbies, crafts, different things you can do with your packed den without recreating wheels, with us giving you ideas how to do it and how to accomplish it and some more go-to things.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, and then for Scouts BSA, there is a merit badge and advancement day. I know Andy wasn't able to join. Is there anybody from this planning team that wants to give details or?
I can update that.
Okay, thanks, Elizabeth.
We are having there's going to be the Merit Badge Day here Saturday, November 13th, and we are a new host as Viterbo University for the fall one. There will be the February one as well, and that'll be at Western Tech. But this fall one is November 13th. We're finalizing our merit badges. So far, we have 7. We're hoping to have 10 to 12 final merit badges. So look for the list to come out and the registration to open up October 20th. So it'll probably start at registration at 8:30 and the classes will start at 9 o'clock. And we'll have, the theme is a new take on STEM. So it's science, technology, Eagle required, and medicine.
All right, thank you. And then finally, just a reminder about our roundtable schedule. So this month we were meeting with just the 2 breakouts, Scouts BSA and Cub Scouts. So next month we'll be back to Scouting community meetings, and we're going to try something a little bit different next month than what we have. We're actually going to combine our Scouts BSA and Cub Scouts in their scouting communities so that they can work together and collaborate and have a chance to help each other out a little bit. So looking forward to that next month on November 11th. All right, so that brings us to the end of our agenda. I know Joe was not able to join us. Zach, do you have any final thoughts or words that you'd like to give?
Oh man, I feel like I'm in the power seat or something here. I really just want to thank you guys for being here tonight, taking the time out to get some of this information. I know that we send a lot of the information out via email, but it's always good to touch base and ask specific questions that may be going on within your unit. I know we had some good ones about Scout Book. We were kind of rushed there in the Cub Scouts, but if you have any further questions, anybody that was leading those sessions between Eric and Matt, you can reach out to them. You can always reach out to myself or Elizabeth. We're here to help you guys, and your success is my success. So anything I can do to get you guys going and make you feel comfortable, let me know, and I'm here to help. So thank you.
Thanks, Zach. All right, I believe we have a poll to take. Feedback is a gift, so we are here to listen and make adjustments based on how you think things are going. So Zach, do you have that ready to go?
Oh,
It was already made, so
perfect.
Yes.
All right. So please let us know what you think about this month's roundtable, and thank you for joining us. And we hope to see everyone back here on November 11th.
Hey, Zach, do you want me to stay on?
Sarah, I think we're probably good. Elias isn't here. We've been kind of communicating all day, so I think we're in a good spot. And I'll give you guys probably both a call tomorrow.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Have a good.
You too. Oh, we got 100% participation.